Good morning, Uganda. It's a Thursday. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue and Inspiring Uganda. Welcome to the show. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and let us start off with a note of congratulations to the team in Glasgow. That is for the Commonwealth Games, as Uganda already has 2 medals in the pockets, with the Uganda Gazelles there, the basketball team, for the women with a silver medal, and Peruth Chemtai there with a bronze medal, representing the women's steeplechase 3,000 meter steeplechase race. It's a congrats for the Ugandan team, or the Uganda's teams that are representing Uganda right now. A few games lost in there so far, but we still have hope, and that puts a smile definitely on the faces of many Ugandans, and on the winners' faces as well, because one thing for sure is there is something in for them. Now, on that note, let's head straight into the updates that we have this morning, and we are starting off with matters local scene, where the government of Uganda is in dire need of $72.6 million, approximately 261 billion Uganda shillings therein, to provide humanitarian support, food relief to the hunger-stricken people in Karamoja. Now, this was revealed by the Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Honorable Sam Engola, during a meeting with development partners at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala, as government tries to mobilize more resources to deal with the current food crisis in Karamoja. That is indeed what Honorable Sam Engola did inform the development partners. Now, according to Honorable Sam Engola, about 473,000 people in Karamoja are facing food shortages, and thousands of the children there could face acute malnutrition. The office of the Prime Minister's technical team, led by Commissioner for Disaster Davis Mwenyi, were tasked to come up with the Karamoja Food Security and Nutrition Crisis Response Plan to deal with the emergency. It was also revealed that the Global World Food Programme Executive Director will be visiting Uganda starting today, and that part of his mission in Uganda is to help the people of Karamoja. Now let's look at matters court. Yesterday, social media was quite taken aback by the events that were transpiring in the court hearing that involves Dr. Kizza Besigye. But retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Lutale, and Captain Ola Oya Denish are facing charges of treason and misprision of treason. The case, tried by Judge Emmanuel Baguma at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. When the proceedings started, Judge Emmanuel Baguma asked the accused to address court on their legal representation as directed by court during the last sitting. Although Captain Ola Oya Denish accepted to be represented by state brief lawyers, Besigye and Haji Obedi Lutale declined, asking for more time to screen 227 out of the 786 list of lawyers presented to them. Besigye also asked the court to hold the trial pending a ruling by Justice Peter Chinobe on issues relating to their legal representation. However, the prosecution opposed all applications. Judge Emmanuel Baguma, in giving his ruling, dismissed Besigye and Haji Lutale's prayers. He ordered the trial to proceed, beginning with the swearing in of the court assessors, despite objections from Dr. Besigye. Although Dr. Besigye and Haji Obedi Lutale protested the prosecution, Although Dr. Besigye and Haji Obedi Lutale protested the appointment of the court assessors, Justice Baguma directed the prosecution to call its first witness. The prosecution's first witness, Andrew Wilson, an American investigator, then took the stand. As the witness began giving evidence, Dr. Besigye loudly protested, urging the court not to proceed and alleging that the trial was unfair. The hearing continued despite repeated interruptions, with Dr. Besigye shouting and banging on the dock throughout much of the proceedings. Tension escalated when the witness was asked whether he recognized any of the accused persons. He identified Dr. Besigye as the person who had allegedly approached him with a plan to overthrow the Ugandan government. Dr. Besigye increased his protest by continuing to interrupt the proceedings. Now, despite the disruptions, Judge Baguma allowed the prosecution to continue leading its evidence. Later, while still expressing his dissatisfaction with the proceedings, Dr. Besigye, who was wearing a face mask, collapsed in the dock, prompting the judge to temporarily halt the hearing. He was later escorted from the dock to the court cells before being taken away by ambulance about an hour later. Outside the courtroom, some of Dr. Besigye's supporters attempted to confront court orderlies and security personnel who prevented them from accessing the accused persons. The court adjourned the matter without announcing the next hearing date in open court. However, court sources later indicated that the trial is expected to resume on 30th July 2026. Now, still staying with Martha's court, as many were wondering, or the whole country kept on wondering where Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi was, well, following his rearrest from Mpigi checkpoint on his way to Kampala, the former Butambala County Member of Parliament, Muwanga Kivumbi, was nowhere to be seen. Not until yesterday, when he was dumped at Natete police station after being held incommunicado for more than 2 weeks. Muwanga Kivumbi was immediately taken to Butambala Magistrates Court to answer charges that led to his arrest under tight security. In Butambala, before Magistrate Amina Wahabu, Muwanga Kivumbi was charged with 1 count of inciting violence and managing unlawful society. Prosecution also alleges that Kivumbi and others still at large on the 9th day of July 2026 at Bugoye Village, Gombe Ward, Gombe Town Council in the Butambala district managed unlawful society by organizing, encouraging or supporting members of the public to rise up against and unlawfully overthrow the government of the Republic of Uganda. Kivumbi pleaded not guilty to all the alleged offences. Prosecution led by Rachel Bihore informed court that investigations are still ongoing and has asked court for more time. After charge, Muwanga informed court how he was allegedly tortured during and after arrest, including showing some of the injuries he got during his detention. Through his legal team, Kivumbi asked court to release him on bail, alleging his unhealthy status and by presenting 3 sureties, among other grounds. Prosecution, however, asked court for more time to make its reply. Magistrate Amina Wahabu adjourned the case to 11th August 2026 for prosecution to make its reply to the bail application. Now, after the court, UBC talked to the accused's legal team and his relatives, and they had this to say. We'll be playing in a bit, which means while Judge Alex Ajiji of High Court Criminal Division has ordered court assessors to give their view tomorrow, which is today, 30th July 2026, in the murder case of Susan Magara and Derek Muwonge, a boda rider. And in the case of Susan Magara, who was murdered along Entebbe Express Highway in 2019, 9 suspects are accused. Aloysius Tamale and John Bosco Mugisha, who were allegedly captured on a CCTV camera at Kakeka, Mengo 2019, with a hammer harming a boda rider, are accused in the murder of Derek Muwonge. Now, still staying in court, in 2008, NSSF acquired Temangalo land from Armour Limited and Amos Nzeyi at a tune of 11 billion shillings. While appearing before Parliament's Statutory Authority and State Enterprises (COSASE) officials from NSSF led by the Managing Director Patrick Agota informed the committee how the Temangalo land has not been fully acquired despite having all the land titles. NSSF officials informed the committee chaired by Muwanga Kivumbi how Temangalo land is still being utilized by Amos Nzeyi, who has refused to vacate the land. NSSF also informed the committee on how negotiations have been taking place to acquire the land despite the land being used by Amos Nzeyi. The committee accused Amos Nzeyi of disrespecting the land agreement, taking NSSF to present to the committee all the land acquisitions for proper investigations. However, the committee raised concerns from the audit report that indicated how NSSF approved a 20.6 billion shilling loan to Uganda Clays without proper documentation. NSSF was also pinned on delays in the implementation of the Pension Tower project, which has so far cost the fund 322 billion shillings. Despite a few loopholes, NSSF has managed to grow the fund from 26 trillion shillings to 32 trillion shillings in 2026. The committee is to invite NSSF this Friday to make conclusive reports. All right, now let's move to the rest of the updates on the global scene, and we're starting off with a blood supply shortage in the U.S. that has reached a crisis level. This is according to the American Red Cross, which says it is the second time in its 150-year history that levels have been this low. Factors including wildfires and extreme heat waves have combined to create the current situation. Dr. Courtney Lawrence, who works with the American Red Cross, told the BBC. Supply levels dropped by a quarter just last month, and the crisis has struck during summer when the amount of blood needed by hospitals typically increases. That is because of an increased number of car accidents and more people spending time outdoors, resulting in more injuries that require blood transfusions, Lawrence said. The American Red Cross, which is the largest single blood supplier in the U.S., providing about 40%, is currently distributing about 3,500 more units than normal during this time of the year, according to Lawrence, who added that the organization is having to dip very, very low into their blood inventory. Quote unquote, "We don't have the ability to stockpile blood super far in advance because blood does have a finite shelf life. It does expire," she said. Donated blood has to be used within 42 days because blood cells degrade over time. Now on to the next story. Two Greek firefighters have died after they became trapped tackling a wildfire that swept through the Retimo area of Crete. Gale force winds whipped up the flames, prompting the evacuation of several villages in the latest summer wildfire to break out in southern Europe. In southern Turkey, the main Fethiye to Antalya highway had to be closed and part of the hospital evacuated because of a fire in Mugla province. Meanwhile, a fourth heat wave of the summer has begun in Spain and France, and firefighters are trying to prevent a flare-up from major wildfires that have just been brought under control. Witnesses said several fires broke out on Crete and spread fast, with the worst fire front extending as far as 15 kilometers. The fire department said 2 men who died were working near the western city of Retimino. Wildfires have also broken out elsewhere in Greece, on the islands of Paros and Lesbos in the Aegean Sea and the southern town of Trifalia on the Greek mainland. In Spain, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has warned the next 12 hours will be decisive in putting out a wildfire near the capital, Madrid. Quote unquote, things are progressing favorably with maximum caution, he told reporters, because of higher temperatures, lower humidity, and the risk of gusts of wind. And finally, on the global scene, an urgent investigation has been launched into the mysterious deaths of 15 elephants in southern Kenya near Amboseli National Park. The Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, told the BBC that experts were examining the carcasses and said that the tissue samples had been sent to laboratories to determine whether the deaths were caused by disease, poisoning, or another factor. The park and its surroundings are known as Amboseli ecosystem, a vast area that straddles the border with Tanzania, which is famous for its wildlife. Officials say this is the first time in decades that elephant mortalities on this scale have been recorded in the region, where they have successfully cracked down on poaching. KWS says there is currently no evidence pointing to a single cause of death. The carcasses include elephants of different ages and genders, suggesting the deaths are not limited to a single family or demographic. The KWS said the deaths occurred over a month between 24th June and 24th July 2026. The wildlife authorities also confirmed to the BBC all the deaths had been recorded outside the Amboseli National Park. Well, that brings us to the end of what we have on the global scene. Now let's look at updates. What headlines are in the dailies this morning? We're starting off with the New Vision there. And the headline, American testifies against Besigye. That's the headline. But our pictorial there, the New Vision pictorial there, General Muhoozi calls for unity to sustain Somalia peace mission. And other stories to look at, government explains power outages, which are, by the way, starting today and going on until the 8th of August, starting 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. So you ought to be aware and prepared. But in other stories, Muwanga Kivumbi charged, remanded. And Museveni welcomes new envoys. And of course, tenders in there. What opportunities could you land? An opportunity to get yourself a copy of the New Vision. Looking at the rest of East Africa, the Citizen in Tanzania, what CCM reshuffle signals ahead of 2027 internal polls. That is the headline looking into the politics of Tanzania. But other stories from Tanzania. Tanzania races towards a cash-light economy. And CRDB posts 417 billion shillings profit as assets top 26 trillion shillings. And sad news there, death, teacher dies in hospital after confrontation with livestock keepers. Sad one, that one is. May he rest well. And rise of student entrepreneurs puts parents in dilemma. Do they choose between school or do they go for business anyways? Parents are worried. Revealed factors fueling wrangling over inheritance. Now let's look at the Daily Nation for Kenya there. Big losers in Sifuna's rise. That's the headline. And contest former ODM Secretary General is a proponent of a united opposition. Other stories to put you on, roll over 20 billion shillings benefits for civil servants, teachers, and looming public health paralysis. What it is, it's in the Daily Nation. And matters transport, MPs back bill to control matatu fares. All of that in the Daily Nation. And that brings us to the end of the updates we have this morning. Now let's have a short break. When we get back, it's another conversation. Just be sure to have the number 0709 602 592 so that you are part of the discussion that is coming in just a bit. Good